Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today I'm going to do something different. I'm going to relay a story, very funny one to be my honest, that involved my mobile chefing. And I wanted to go over it with you because it is a funny story and it is also one of a bit of a learning lesson. So the time is before the fall of Gaddafi. It's well within his regime time frame, and we were travelling from Libya into Algeria. Now, Jack was our driver. What we do is we pack up our main Land Rover with all of our chefing equipment. We'd all pile in. The chefing team isn't big. There's only 6 of us, and you can easily fit us in one of the British main Range Rovers. And what we used to do is we would travel genuinely starting from Gibraltar, the Rock, cross over into Morocco, and then drive down through the various hotels. And we would do this on a year-by-year basis. We would probably do various venues, various things that involve British businessmen who wanted to eat British food. So we would travel down through Morocco into Algeria, into Libya, and then stop off at Egypt, and then come back up through the North African, what we call the North African track. Now, getting in and out of Libya during Gaddafi's reigns can change from time to time. Sometimes it was really easy. The hotels had the papers work sorted. We would just flash the paperwork. Our head chef, Brian, would just do everything that was needed to be done. And sometimes Gaddafi's regime was difficult to deal with. So we would have to sneak across the border. And this story is about one of those times we were sneaking across the border. Now, I'll call him Marvin because I don't want to give away his Filipino Napolinian name, because he actually has family who are Gurkhas. I'm trying to be very descriptive about it. So anyway, we are travelling out of Algeria, heading into Libya. We are travelling one of the less used travel routes. We'd had a conversation with some Bedouin friends of ours. Yes, I do have Bedouin friends, and some Bedouin Christians, I might add. And I know that's quite rare, but they do actually exist. People are rather surprised at how often there are Bedouin Christians. Anyway, we were having ourselves a conversation backwards and forwards, and we were told, look, Gaddafi's security on the borders are getting rather harsh. You know, they're expecting specialist financial means, and the hotel was not willing to pay for the specialist transport tax for the British businessmen. This is one of those moments where Britain and Gaddafi's Libya were having a spat, as we would call it. But the British businessmen still wanted to eat British food, so we had to get across the border. So anyway, we come down via one of the Bedouin lines. We're travelling through the Bedouin areas, oasis to oasis, and we're going just about to cross the border. And it's late at night, the lights are off, our driver's driving, there is no particular issues that are going on. And so he douses the lights. He says, look guys, we've got to keep it quiet. Yeah, keep it down. And of course, my Filipino Nepalese chef looks at me like that. I'm like, no, Marv, don't do this. And he winds down the window, and just as we were probably about 1.5, maybe 2 miles from the border, he, at the top of his Nepalese voice, starts singing Roll Britannia. The driver's going fucking mental. The chefs are pissing themselves laughing. We're all thinking this is it. And, you know, a Russian-style attack helicopter is going to turn up and fucking waste us. And he's got the window. He won't pipe down. He's like, oh, Britannia. Half of the fucking Range Rover is pissed as farts, drunk as scuds. I'm dying. I'm like, we're going to die. God save us. The driver's like, shut him up! Shut that fucking gooky bastard up before he gets us murdered! And I'm dying in the back, and our fucking head chef is screaming, knocking back mist. This is when we were drinking. I was Christian at this point. For all of my Muslim brothers and sisters who are realising this, we were all partially baked off, you know, fucking pissed as farts, crossing into Libya. Half of us are half cooked because we all think we're going to fucking die. Passing round the Irish mist, and this Napolinian Filipino chef is screaming, top of his lungs, Roll Britannia, as we're crossing the desert. Anyway, nothing happens. No one comes looking for us. We get to the next oasis town, and Salud, who is one of the Bedouin drivers, he's a Christian Bedouin, stood there with his Muslim Bedouin friend, and they are wetting themselves laughing. They're like, half the Bedouin could hear you across the desert, but it was so funny that no one told the guards, because we were wetting ourselves. That this crazy, I said he's Nepalese Filipino. He's insane. He's absolutely fucking insane. We get across the border. We roll up to the border town. Again, I'm not going to mention where it is. From one of the Algerian, Libyan border town. The border guard captain comes out. He has this wolfish grin on him. Papers, gentlemen, he says. We pass by. He says, and please try to tell the Bedouin, please try to tell the your Napoleonian chef to pipe down. As funny as it was, the colonel was a little disturbed from his sleep. We were dying. We said we thought we had, but he said, yes, the official border guard, they are like that. But nah, everyone else doesn't give a shit. You're so regular, you'd have probably been waved through. I said, you could have told us that. We fucking drove. He said, no, but the Bedouin thought it was amusing. And you kept giving the Bedouin, you know, water and food and supplies and equipment. And whilst you're doing that, we don't have to give it to them. And I'm fucking dying. The head chef's like, that cost me $1,000 of food. Do you know how much fucking cooking oil I had to give? The look on the head chef's face when we got in to the capital was fucking hilarious. Do you know, you fuckers, he said, we'll get you the stuff. We'll replace it. Because we supplied the Bedouin all of our cooking materials as we were coming through using the Bedouin trails to avoid the border guards, when the border guards who know us would have just waved us through anyway. Even though officially, at the top, the Gaddafi government had said, no, extra checks, extra things. But the border guards who have known us for so many years said, nah, Brian's people, let him through. They know us. But it was because of the paranoia of us being British chefs and various mixed race. We had a French chef amongst us as well. The French chef was the one who was fucking shitting himself. He says, they got Russian hinds that kill us all. This was the attitude that we had as we came across the border. And this is one of those funny stories about how travelling across the Algerian to Libyan border was one of the most exceptional. It's not the only one I've got. I've got entire stories. And I just thought I'd share that with my brothers and sisters about one of the crazy escapades I have been in travelling from Algeria into, and let me give it frank here, the Algerians are some of the most relaxed people. Wallahi, I want to stand by this. The Algerians are some of the most relaxed people I have ever been around in my entire life. They're like, go ahead. They don't care. It was always the Libyans that gave a shit about crossing the border. And it was always the Libyans that gave us the most trouble coming in and out of their country. And yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. One of the border crossings that I've had as a mobile chef in a Range Rover with a Filipino Napoleonian chef. Marvin was insane and probably one of the best sous chefs I've ever seen in my entire life. He also took up 2 fucking seats, the fat bastard, and could definitely have done with a fucking diet. And I'm certain that Marvin's probably seen this, and I say it to this day as well. You are the craziest fucking chef I have ever worked with in my entire life. And you have nearly got us killed on multiple occasions, you complete lunatic. But we do love you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One of my chefing journeys. I'm going to probably do a mini-series of these, depending on how popular they are, on people's thoughts on my chefing experience. Hope to speak to you soon.